Welcome to Stories with Dice. This is Star Trek Magellan, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition actual play podcast. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode. It is the early 22nd century, 4 years after the founding of the United Federation of Planets. 5 years since the end of the Earth-Romulan War. Starfleet has renewed their mission of peaceful exploration. But something has gone terribly wrong at Cradle Station, a research outpost on the edge of Federation space. The crew is dead, its lead scientist missing. The USS Magellan's mission? Unravel the mystery of Cradle Station and boldly go where no one has gone before. We open on the USS Magellan, a Columbia-class Starfleet vessel in standard orbit around Eridanus, a desolate, frozen world where the researchers of Cradle Station had spent the last 2 years. The camera shifts, diving through the atmosphere, past the roiling clouds of an encroaching storm, down to the planet's surface. Here, the icy wasteland stretches in all directions, and nestled among the snowdrifts and ice-worn ridges stands Cradle Station, a solitary research outpost, its perimeter lights barely cutting through the swirling snow. The camera holds on the station for a beat, silent, lifeless. Then, the distinctive whine of a transporter, a shimmer of blue-white energy. Figures coalesce in the midst of the storm, their forms flickering into existence as the landing party, clad in cold-weather gear, materializes just outside the station's main hatch. Their breath curls in the frigid air. The wind howls. They already know what they'll find inside. The dead don't talk. But somewhere in that frozen silence, the truth of Cradle Station may yet be waiting. But first, let's meet the crew of the USS Magellan. Ed, my friend, my co-host. Who are you playing today?
So I'll be playing Chief Medical Officer Scott Travis. He is relatively, I think it's his first assignment to a starship vessel. So he's, I guess, very keen to stretch his muscles and, I guess in this case, his medical knowledge to help the ship.
And your familiarity with Star Trek is what?
Is probably just slightly above casual. Seen DS9, watching Strange New Worlds, and I've seen various films and some of the episodes smattered through the other TV shows. So probably give me a sort of 60% knowledge of Star Trek.
Tony, the sexy Andorian.
Hello, everyone.
Tell us who you're playing today.
So we'll be playing the Captain Karl Tassarath from USS Magellan. I'm a veteran of the Romulan War and already tussled with Romulans before during the war, and perhaps we'll learn more about what happened to me during the war. And then I basically joined the Starfleet Academy, and I was recruited into this rank to help the new recruits, the new promotion, and I was assigned US Magellan shortly after. I think this might be perhaps our first mission. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, probably. And your familiarity with Star Trek was?
I would say it's like Ed.
Ed, okay, yep.
Yeah.
And your first experience was what, Wrath of Khan, right?
Yeah, probably the old movies.
Yeah. Awesome.
The old movies, yes.
Can't go wrong with those. Douglas, tell us who you're playing today.
I am playing Chief Engineer Stephen Rhodes, who is a human from Luna, as in Earth's moon. Before he joined Starfleet, he had a long career as a miner in like outposts and that sort of thing. So being in sort of like rigid sort of military structure, all that is relatively new to him, only in the last 5-ish years.
Okay, cool. And I already know your familiarity. We've played Star Trek Adventures numerous times before. So you've seen every film in just about every series, right?
Yes, the word excessive might be correct. I also, on my desk, have a copy of The Final Reflection by John M. Ford, which, if you know what that is, know what that is.
I do know what that is. That's an excellent choice.
That sort of gives you the level.
And we have Carmelo. He's actually my brother, and we haven't played a role-playing game together since probably we were 13.
About right, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us who you're playing today.
I am the Chief Science Officer, Lieutenant Commander Lev Maris, another veteran of the Earth-Romulan War, probably dealing with a little bit of trauma and PTSD as a result, so interesting to see how he reacts on this particular mission.
And he has ESP, does he not?
He is an yes, he has a bit of ESP.
But a Gary Mitchell, and that's another deep cut. And so I already know Carmelo's familiarity with Star Trek since we've been watching Star Trek since the original series when we were kids. That's how old we are. Okay, so let's get right back into it. You step through the round hatch, boots clanking against the metal deck as you leave the biting cold behind. A gust of frigid air swirls past before the hatch seals shut with a pressurized hiss, the sound sharp in the station's eerie stillness. The walls are slick with condensation, and the stark red glow of emergency lights cast long shadows that flicker across the bulkheads. The readings from your hand scanners confirm the initial sensor data the Magellan took from orbit. There are no life signs, and the station is running on emergency backup power. The resupply ship's report had said that they found the scientists frozen to death beyond the station's rear hatch. No signs of struggle, no explanation. At your briefing at Starbase 12, you were told little about the station's research, only that they were searching for the origins of life in the galaxy. The deck plans of Cradle Station are available on your hand scanners, so you can view the layout of the outpost. And I'm saying hand scanners, they're tricorders, but this is the 22nd century, and it's unclear if that nomenclature is being used yet, but tricorders, hand scanners, they do the same thing. So, what would you like to do?
Is the power on?
Power is on, yes. It's on, the emergency backup power is on.
Okay, so main power is not on as the main lights. It's like a little tiny.
Yes, correct.
So as I'm walking through the entrance, I will look at our chief medical officer and I will say, Travis, can you please give me a scan of the facilities? Do we see any life signs?
I'll do my best. I have got a medical scanner, which is probably better for close-up stuff. I look towards the chief science officer and say, he's probably the better person, Captain.
Fine. Maris, can you give me a scan?
Insight or reason, and then science would be the attribute and department you would want to click.
Insight and reason, yep. Okay, roll dice.
What I neglected to mention was that was a difficulty 0 task, so you've just given the group 2 momentum.
Excellent.
Could you do us a favor and just quickly explain that for any system basic rule in case anyone's listening?
Sorry about that. I appreciate you keeping me honest, Ed. So, you will always roll at least 2 dice, 2 20-sided dice. You will add the attribute and the department that you decide that you're using for the action. In this case, Carmelo used insight, I think, or reason, and science. So then you add those 2 attributes together, and that becomes your target number that you have to hit that number or below to succeed. And then you would have a difficulty, which is how many successes do you need? So he rolled 2 successes. The difficulty was 0, so those successes turn into momentum that he can use to do certain things, or you guys can use as a group.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. So, Mr. Maris, your tricorder registers no life signs, just as the initial scan from the Magellan indicated when you were in orbit.
Captain, the scanners show no life forms as indicated by the observation from the ship above.
Nothing at all?
No life signs whatsoever.
Strange indeed. Mr. Rhodes, what about power situation in the facility? What can you...
Well, the emergency lights are on, so the batteries are probably working. Can't really say more until I've gone to the actual generators and had a look. Did the resupply ship mention anything when they went in here, or did they just come in, see the dead bodies and leave?
Once they Yeah, they didn't stick around very long. Once they saw the dead bodies, they left.
Tell you what, Captain, I've got my map here where the generators are, so I'll just head on down there and see if I can get them started rather than us freezing our asses down here.
Please take Mr. Travis with you. I will stay here. I want to inspect the Chief Scientist office with Mr. Maris.
Captain, did you want me to go look at the bodies, or did you still want me to carry on with the engineer?
Go to the engineer for the moment. I want to get full power on the station. And
yes, sir.
I would like to understand what are the logs. That scientists are not going anywhere.
Sure.
So I will ask, Maris, if you will, can you tell me if there is anything of use for us here?
Yeah, so you enter the chief scientist's office, and their chairs are overturned. There's broken data pads on the floor. Star charts and notes have been torn down from the walls and scattered across the floor. The computer terminal on the desk is still active. The screen has been cracked, and it's flickering with a fragment of a log, and it says, "Found something beneath the ice, something extraordinary." Now, if you guys want to search through all of the notes and to try to get some more information out of the log, that would be insight into science, and the difficulty is 1. And Tony, you can assist in the task that Carmelo is doing, and in that case, you would roll only 1 d20 as the person assisting.
Do I need to click somewhere or just click on the roll in d20?
Click on your character sheet. Choose the attribute and the department that you want to use. Science would be science or security. You could use security. That would work as well because you're looking for information. Yep.
And reason, I guess.
Yeah, reason is a good one. Click on perform task.
And use info. Yeah.
And then on the bottom where it says number of dice in pool, just move that slider to say 1.
So I got a 12, which is no successes.
Successes for you. Carmelo, go right ahead.
Okay, so reason and science then.
Also, you do have 2 momentum at the moment. You can use to buy dice.
Mello is on a roll. He hasn't played an RPG since we were kids, and he's coming up aces. All right, 3 successes. You needed 2, so that generates 1 momentum. So, Carmelo, you're able to reconstruct a fragment of the lead scientist's log. You also learn that his name is Dr. Michael Corby, and the log says that the outpost personnel are beginning to act strangely. There are signs of paranoia and erratic behavior. I cannot ignore the possibility that the proto-mentis is influencing them in some way.
So mentis.
Now, if you want to spend a point of momentum, you can ask me a question and I will answer it as truthfully as I am able.
I think it might be important to know what the proto-mentis is. So I think I'll ask you that question.
Okay. So you find a reference that the proto-mentis was a fragment of DNA that they found when they were drilling the ice, and that they called it the proto-mentis, proto meaning first, mentis meaning mind or intelligence. It was their theory that this microorganism was the first intelligence in the galaxy.
Okay.
And that there might be more information in the genomics lab, which is where they were studying the DNA, sequencing it.
Maybe a place we want to look into.
Indeed, Mr. Maris. I will send a message to Travis and Rhodes. Please exert caution. It seems like there was kind of, well, I wouldn't say a pathogen, but kind of an element that perhaps was affecting the minds of the people on Cradle Station. So be careful with what you manipulate, please. We are searching now more information about it. Please report when you get the power up and running.
As soon as the captain says that there was a pathogen, I'll start scanning stuff with my actual medical scanner.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll, Ed.
I guess I'm going to do this with insight and medicine.
Sounds good.
With insight, I have a trait that says that I have untapped potential, which allows me to, if I succeed at a task for which you brought 1 or more additional dice by any means, I guess I'm not going to buy anything, I suppose, because it's probably not going to pay a case. I've just realized that. So I'm just going to make a normal roll.
Okay, your difficulty is going to be 0. So You'll just be generating momentum.
Okay, fine.
If you roll a 20, you'll create a complication.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see if I can roll that 20. No. So I got 2 successes under a target of 15.
Now the group has a total of 4 momentum. So your scan has registered no pathogens in the station. we'll just say, well, it took them a little while to rifle through the scientist's office, that you guys are in the generator room at this point. So you'll be happy to know the generator room houses a fusion reactor. It is offline, and the room is cluttered with backup power cells, battery banks that are providing the station's emergency power. You see some wires and conduits exposed and like pulled out of places where they belong, and the cooling systems are inactive. The backup systems are emitting a low, irregular hum as the batteries slowly deplete.
I run my medical scanner over it and look at Steve and go, I think it's almost dead, Steve.
Possibly. It looks like that's like, can I use my quick survey talent and ask a free question?
Yeah.
Based on just entering. Can I tell why the fusion reactor is offline? Is it like broken or is it just turned off?
Yes. So those wires and conduits that got pulled out, they essentially deactivated the cooling systems. And once the cooling systems went offline as a safety feature, the reactor shut itself down.
Does that look like a relatively easy thing to fix?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Looks like the cooling system sort of when the automatic shut-offs kicked in. I'm a bit confused why they didn't just fix it. They did have like engineering staff on the screw list for this place, right?
They did have they had a medic and they had an engineer, yes.
So he's obviously something's going on. Like, I guess I'll just go fix it.
Do you want me to plug anything in, Steve?
It just should be relatively quick. But yeah, if you want to hold the light while I do it.
Sure. And I'll put the light in the wrong place and then into the right place until you kind of tell me, no, over here.
So, Douglas, this is a difficulty 0 task. If you want to get the generator, if you want to reinitiate the cooling systems and get the generator back online.
I won't do anything fancy, so I will just take the automatic.
Okay, no problem. So it takes you about 20 minutes to fix the cooling system and start booting up the reactor and move back to Tony and, I should say, Captain Carr and Lieutenant Commander Maris. You're still in the Chief Science Officer's office, is that correct?
We probably move to the genomics lab as soon as we are done.
So just as you get to the door of this lab, you could hear a faint crackle breaking the sort of the silence of the station. There's a garbled voice, distorted by static, seems to be playing on a loop. You can't really make out what it's saying. It's too faint and broken by interference, but the recording seems to be coming from inside the lab. And when you get into the room, the whole place is a wreck. Consoles are smashed, screens are shattered, wires are hanging loose from the ceiling and marred by the scorch marks of energy weapons fire. Only one monitor remains active, flickering a distorted and fragmented image of one of the research scientists. You recognize him from your briefing at Starbase 12. It's Dr. Elias Morrow, and he looks disheveled, and there's like this, his eyes are wide with panic. And as you step closer to the monitor, you can make out his voice. And he's just saying, and it's in a loop, and he's just, they're awake, they're awake, they're awake. It's just over and over on a loop.
I check around. Can I understand if this was a random, if there was like a, like a something. It seems to me very random, so I just want to make sure that this feels more like there was no combat here. It was like if I'm trying to piece everything together, and if the people were going mad because of whatever changing behavior because of this DNA. Can I actually induce that? Can I deduce that based on how this looks like? Is this
Yes, exactly. And also your tricorders register the scorch marks from energy weapons fire as being Federation standard phase pistols. So in line with what you learned from the chief scientist's office, that the personnel started acting irrational or erratic and paranoid, that it looks like the personnel of the station tore through this room for whatever reason and damaged all of this equipment.
Aris, can you give me more information about this proto-mantis? Is there anything that we can salvage in this room?
Let's see. Well, with the equipment damaged the way it is, quite sure, but we'll do the best we can to pull some of that information out. So then, Marco, would that be engineering and reason?
Yeah, we can use reason, yeah. And the difficulty is 2, so you're going to need 2 successes. So if you want, you have 4 momentum at the moment as a group. If you want to buy an additional die, that'll cost you 1 momentum, so you'll be rolling 3 dice instead of 2. Since your engineering skill is a little low, or your department, I should say.
I would say go for it. I mean, this is quite important.
Like, we don't use it, we lose it.
So then when you click on perform task at the bottom where it says number of dice in pool, just move that slider to 3.
Okay, let me see. Dice 3. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Let's see what we get.
Okay, you've got 2 successes. That is exactly what you needed. So you're having a look at the computer console, that fragmented image of Dr. Morrow, it's on a loop saying they're awake, they're awake. The rest of the video is irretrievably lost, but you do find that some information that says that the science team spent the last year and a half sequencing the DNA of an extinct microorganism that they called Protomantis, so that tracks with what you learned from the chief scientist's office, and that they discovered it in an ice core sample, and that it is not native to this planet.
Well, tell me about this, Maris. This sounds very bizarre. I'm guessing, what do you infer from this?
Well, not native to the planet. It has to have come from somewhere else. Obviously, how it got here, that's the question. That might be what we need to think about as we're going through the rest of the information, if we can retrieve any more information from these systems. Hopefully, Rhodes and Travis can get a lot of the power back up that might help us.
Yeah, you start actually, while you're having that conversation, you start to see the normal lights start to come on. So it looks like your chief engineer was successful. Now, if you want to give me another momentum, I will give you a new piece of data that you can retrieve from the busted computers.
What do you say, Captain? Yep. Okay.
So you find a log here from Dr. Corby that says a new report from an archaeological team in the Corella system has uncovered remains identical to Specimen 3 excavated here. I am leaving immediately for Corella to investigate. Until I return, I have instructed my staff to continue their analysis of the Protomantis, but to take extra precautions. And that log, that was logged roughly 46 days ago, and the Corella system is noted as being 1 light year away. So the station's transport would take about a month and a half, to get there. So 46 days, that about tracks that he left before the outpost personnel died and were found by the supply ship.
Though, could be interesting perhaps to check who is this Dr. Corby to understand more.
Yes, and has he returned from that expedition, Marco?
No, he's
still gone.
He hasn't returned. No one has heard from him, and you've heard no report from your briefing at Starbase 12 that he was anywhere near Corella.
Do you think I could get more information about the officers in the staff office? Or where can I retrieve information about? Well, I can probably get it from the ship, not right? If I want to get a manifest of the crew, of the staff in this station.
Yeah, you had that in the briefing.
What do I know about Dr. Corby, if I know anything?
He is an archaeologist. He has studied the ancient Orion civilization, and most recently has been the lead on the Federation Science Council's push to learn about the origins of life in the galaxy. It doesn't really give you much more than that. It does say that a lot of what he's done at Cradle Station has been classified at the highest level.
Rhodes, report?
Rhodes here. Power should be coming back onto the station.
Very well. You might come back. I think it's time that we check on the dead scientist. I will need you here, Dr. Twist.
Coming, Captain.
As you're moving through the corridors, and forgive me, I should have mentioned this earlier, there's definitely signs of struggles, perhaps, in the corridors. There's clothes in the corridors. Things are just kind of a mess and disheveled in the station itself. Sorry, for the folks at home, I just moved his token halfway across the map.
I was going to stop in on the infirmary on the way to the...
Okay. Sorry. Understood.
I just want to poke my head in to see what's going on in the infirmary.
Douglas, are you sticking with him, or are you going?
Yeah, if the doctor has an inkling or something, I'll stay with him rather. Captain can wait.
Yep. So this is a small utilitarian space, sterile white walls, 2 biobeds. They're sorely lacking in medical supplies. You see most of the shelves are empty. There's a computer terminal on the medic's desk. It appears to be functioning.
Okay. Does it look like it's been trashed like the other parts, or has it just been left?
It just sort of has been left.
Okay. I will quickly log on to the computer and see what the last few entries will be. That's if it's not locked down or anything.
No, it isn't. It isn't locked down at all. So you've got the generator back on. The computer is not locked down. It hasn't been damaged, so there's no need to make a roll here. So it appears that someone deleted all of the personal medical files of the station personnel. But the remaining entries, one of them says that the Proto-Mantis was capable of surviving extreme environments and showed evidence of biological activity, though it remained dormant and in a state of quantum superposition.
I've got a medical degree, not a scientific degree. My mum would have loved this. I'm gonna see if I can download that to my handheld com or pad or whatever it is.
You can download that to your tricorder.
Yep. Then just literally give just a once over. So it's just an in, out, and then go because the captain's calling.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. That was it.
All right. So you guys are reunited in the hallway here.
We have discovered that apparently there was this microorganism that was unearthed from this location that has been perhaps trapped under the ice. They call it Proto-Mantis, and they were able apparently to sequence the DNA of this organism. Interestingly enough, apparently it is not native from this location, and it comes from another planet, or well, I don't know if it was a planet or the system, Corella, which is not very far away.
I've just seen some of the medical officer's notes. It kind of pretty much says the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's got a bunch of scientific gobbledygook that I'm pretty sure that Lieutenant Commander Maris, you might be able to understand. And I'll share that data across to his.
Yeah, Maris, you find the fact that the Proto-Mantis is in a state of quantum superposition rather interesting because in your transporter accident, in your character's backstory, you yourself were in a state of quantum superposition momentarily, which the medical team at Starfleet probably believes was the spark that enhanced your dormant ESP talent, shall we say.
Right.
So quantum superposition essentially just means that the DNA is in two different places at the same time.
Gentlemen, I think we need to be very cautious about what we do next. I mean, we don't know if there are traces of this microorganism anywhere.
I've not found anything.
Yeah, but don't want to take any risk. We cannot go back to the ship carrying any contaminant.
Of course.
But I would like to have an inspection on the dead scientists to understand why are they all together in the same location. If this microorganism makes them go crazy, what forced them to do this? I don't know.
Good, we get to go outside in that nice balmy weather again. I'll zip up my jacket, put the hood up, go towards the back door to the outside.
Okay, so you're at the rear airlock. You release the lock on the outer hatch. It opens with a hiss. You get a blast of freezing air that washes over you. And you step out onto the barren ice. And you've got the howling wind sort of swallows up the noise of the station coming back to life as the generator, kicks back in. And then you see four figures sprawled in the snow. Bodies are stiff. Their skin is pallid, frostbitten, their uniforms frozen solid to their flesh. Some of them are lying face down, half buried in the snow. Others are curled in on themselves as if they were trying to shield themselves from being struck or perhaps from the cold. It's unclear. Their expressions, those that you can see, are locked in terror or pain.
Okay. I will give them a good old scan over, see what has... Well, I guess what's caused the issue, and I'm gonna specifically scan for pathogens and that kind of thing. I do have as a focus a medical toxicology, which I don't know if would come into some kind of use.
I don't think toxicology works here.
Okay, no problem. It's not a toxin. Excellent. What would you like me to use? Insight, I suppose.
You can use insight, you can use reason. The
insight
choice is yours.
Probably could be mine.
Yep, and then medicine.
Yep, that's fine.
Your difficulty is going to be 2.
2. I don't really have any talents that's really going to help me. All my kind of talents are based around field medicine, not really kind of looking at the dead bodies, that kind of thing. So do you mind if I use a momentum?
Go for it.
Yep. Cool.
I have no issues with that.
Okay. I presume that just means I get to add a dice to my dice pool, so I'll have 3.
Yeah, so when you click on perform task, we're at the bottom of that window that opens up where it says number of dice in pool, just move the slider to 3.
Okay. And I was going to see if I can do this. You let me know if I can blag this for a value. A good mystery is very irresistible. And so this is a good mystery. And that's one of my values. Would I be able to use that?
Yeah, you want to use one of your...
Well, I'm guessing just using that as a role-playing element. That's the reason I'm doing it. I'm not really sure how the determination and the values and all that kind of work, but...
Right. So basically, you can spend your point of determination. That value is perfect, by the way. So you're using the value in this task. So that means you can spend that point of determination to either, after you've rolled all your dice, you can re-roll any of the d20s in your dice pool, or you can spend that determination before the dice are rolled to make one of those dice automatically give you 2 successes.
Wow, okay. That's pretty cool. And how easy is it for me to get back determination?
So for you to get back determination, you would have to challenge one of your values.
Okay. So,
or suffer a complication because of one of your...
Okay.
If Marco decided that was relevant.
So in this case, going out of my way to a good mystery is irresistible, putting myself in harm's way, that kind of thing, instead of the opposite. That kind of thing?
Some things are best left not looked into, would probably be the opposite, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Some things should be left buried, you know.
Do you know what? Why not? Let's do that. That seems like a fun thing. So because I tick in the Foundry VTT box, the user determination value. Is that correct?
Yes. I don't know if that's going to work, but yes,
well,
it looks like that's what you're supposed to do.
Let's try this then, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, I'm making my roll. So it looks like I rolled 3d20, target number is 15, and I got 4 successes.
Yes, and it did. It looks like it did work. Okay, it gave you one. It gave you one of them as 2 successes.
Okay.
You have put... I misspoke. It was not 2 successes you needed. It was 3. So you generated 1 extra momentum.
Okay.
And this is what your scanner tells you. Your scan of the victims reveals no wounds or other signs of violent trauma. They most certainly died of hypothermia. However, you find damage to their synaptic pathways in their brains, which could have resulted in intense psychological disturbances, including hallucinations and impaired judgment. So this could account for why they were acting strangely, why they went outside without any protective weather gear.
So we think perhaps maybe the proto-mentis could have affected their synapses, which meant they went a little bit nuts and went outside.
Correct. Now, if you want to spend momentum for additional information...
Why not? Let me spend 1 point of momentum for some extra information. That momentum comes and goes really quickly.
Technically, you're supposed to ask a question, but sometimes I like to flub that. So you find trace evidence of quantum superposition in their synaptic pathways. So in essence...
the evidence I need.
Their mind was in multiple realities simultaneously. However, the human mind wasn't built to comprehend such a phenomenon, so the strain of trying to process all of that information drove them to madness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And perhaps the hallucinations that they may have been experiencing weren't really hallucinations, but they were witnessing this other reality intersecting with ours, since they were in 2 places at once.
Okay. I will relay all of that as I get it to everyone here.
While the doctor is doing his super interesting prodding of dead bodies, what is the ice core operations platform that I'm standing next to? What does that look like?
It's got drilling equipment. It's open air, so it's not sealed in, so you can just see the platform. It's got large drilling equipment, some monitoring stations meant to track the ice core samples.
As an ex-miner, I immediately recognize everything that is over there, pretty much.
Yes.
From like a glance. I'm like, that's an open cast mining system using whatever. Well, like, while they're doing that, I'm just going to go look at that stuff. Well,
yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary with the ice core platform. However, you notice in one corner of the platform is a large hole, like manhole size hole, not a hole that they would have drilled an ice core sample out of. And there's a ladder leading down, a metal ladder leading down.
Okay, so this looks like kind of like bodged as it was, as in they just drilled a hole and then chuck a thing into it. Because I say, I know mining stuff. So I'd be like, if that was like not a part of a normal thing, I'd be like, that's weird. But if that's just the normal hatch that you usually have to get down, I'd be like,
No, it's weird. It looks like your guess from your experience as a miner, especially with working on the Earth observation outposts along the neutral zone and on the moon, that they were using the drill to excavate ice core samples, found something else, and then dug this giant hole that they could climb into.
okay, all right. Well, I guess since the captain and the medical was everyone really busy looking at the bodies, and it was just, or was there anyone who wasn't looking like they were very busy looking at the bodies when I left?
We'll let the characters let us know.
Well, I was paying attention to what Dr. Travis was doing. In fact, when he finishes, I see that you are checking the installation, so that's all right, because that's important too. But I will ask Dr. Travis, do you think there is still some proto-mantis left on these bodies?
I can't find any, but I don't know. I'd have to take it to the ship and use put it into the bay, and then actually do some proper pathological stuff. He says,
I wouldn't like to risk the ship. Perhaps we can use one of the labs here in this facility. I don't know, Maris, do you think perhaps it would be important to understand what is this proto-mantis? And
Yes, I would not risk taking this back to the ship at the moment, because it's logical to assume that if it's in a state of superposition, that it can appear and disappear possibly at will, if it has a will of its own. But if it's standing between two dimensions or two realities, it could reappear at any moment, at any time, anywhere, would be my assumption. I would use the labs here for sure.
would you do that? Just taking extreme caution, please.
sure, I mean, I could give that a go. I've worked in worse.
Doctor, you could do autopsies at the infirmary. In the outpost, you can have the ship beam down whatever equipment you may need if there isn't, enough equipment available for a momentum fee, of course. But
Of course.
or threat if you don't have enough momentum. So all of that, and you can also there are 2 or 3 other labs that are in the facility that
Yeah.
you can use.
I mean,
to.
The labs would probably be my thought rather than the infirmary, but yeah.
So, Mr. Rhodes, what are you doing with this giant hole?
I guess I'll have a look down and see how far down it goes. Push my torch down, see if I can see at the bottom.
You do see the bottom, yes.
Well, everyone else seems very busy at the moment. So, and since, I'm not doing anything, and sometimes, as my value says, sometimes decisive action is required. So I'm just like, okay, I'll go check down the bottom of this ladder.
Okay, I love it. So the ladder takes you into this vast underground chamber. And in the center of this chamber stands a massive monolith. Its surface is as black as deep space.
Okay. Can I do a sort of like quick geological scan of this cave and get more information? Ooh, what would that be? Like insight and science? And
Do you have a focus?
I do have a focus in geology.
Yep.
So focus. What's the difficulty?
Your difficulty is 1.
I won't buy anything.
Success.
Success. So
Yep. So this is an artificial structure. It was built over 700 years ago by some intelligence. Simple construction. There's nothing fancy about it, nothing overly technological about it. Most likely buried by the glacier once the climate changed on the planet.
Can I use the quick survey talent just now to see, do I get any sort of weird vibes from this area?
You do.
Like from my senses?
You do.
Unease. Okay.
From the monolith.
Okay, specifically the monolith. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else down here, like equipment or anything lying around that the team were obviously using?
No.
Like, that seems a bit odd, since from what Maris was saying, this seems to be the thing they were looking at, but all their diagnostic equipment isn't here. I guess I'll get my communicator and buzz the captain at this point.
Okay.
Do I get through to the captain?
You do. So, Captain Carr, your communicator is beeping.
Roads, Turner?
Road here. I'm down in the ice core platform. There seems to be some sort of thing down here. Might be something for Maris to come have a look at, because I can't figure out. It's some sort of weird monolith almost.
Be cautious. We don't know if that's the proto-mantis or the source of this proto-mantis.
Did they say what the source of it was?
Yeah, so the protomantis was found in an ice core sample.
This isn't part of an ice core. This is something different.
Do you get an analysis of this thing?
This cave that it's in is artificially made, not by a particularly technologically advanced civilization per se, but
This
definitely
monolith.
was here prior. This wasn't dug out by the science team. This cave, I think, was here before.
Okay. And did you get any readings from the monolith?
I haven't really gone to have a look at it yet. You want me
Don't
to go
touch
have a
it.
look? No,
Keep
no.
your distance.
Okay, I will stay here. I didn't see any of the scientists' equipment down here either. Just kind of empty.
Yeah, get some recordings and let's wait for Maris and Travis to get some information from the scientists. Let's see if we can isolate this microorganism or whatever this is.
Would you like me to go and assist him, Captain?
No, what's more, honestly, Travis, do you think you can do the isolation? I don't know if I want to let you stay alone when you're doing this.
That's okay. I can happily call down one of the nurses
Okay, you can prep
along
it.
with the equipment. That should be fine.
Okay, if you start the prepping, I will also head down to see what this is. Come on, Maris.
Okay, so the two of you are going down into the chamber, the underground chamber, and then Dr. Travis is going to one of the labs.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the labs. I'm going to contact the ship and ask them to beam down some relevant equipment and one of the nurses to help with the autopsy.
So we'll stick with the underground chamber for a moment. Captain Carr and Lieutenant Commander Maris, you climb down this ladder from the ice core operations platform into this underground chamber. You see this massive monolith that's in the center of the chamber.
So what do you think?
Well, let's try and take another scan with my equipment. But would I also be able to use my extrasensory perception?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be my insight.
So at any point during play, you may ask the Game Master for hints or insights about the current situation, and the Game Master may offer you information about the current situation that you would not normally be able to determine. Each hint adds one threat, and you may always refuse to accept the hint offered. So it's not a roll. At any point, you can ask me for a hint or an insight about the situation. And I can also just give you one in exchange for a point of threat, but you can say no, thank you, in that particular case.
Okay, well, I'll ask you if you have any insight on this, if you have any information.
You have a very strong feeling that the monolith responds to frequencies.
Oh, like on a tricorder.
Yes.
Okay, would we be able to tune into those frequencies?
Yes. Now, that would be a reason or insight. With science or engineering. You can use either one. Difficulty will be 2. You do have 1 momentum left if you want to buy a die for that.
Should we risk it? We'd have none left. How long is it?
You'll lose it anyway once the scene changes.
Right.
I can assist on engineering part of it.
That is true.
Yeah, good. That sounds good. So I'm going to put insight and science on this.
Okay.
And I will perform task.
Do I have to do the assist first?
It doesn't matter who does what first. Your roll only counts if he succeeds.
What would you say for my engineering assist then, if I'm doing anything?
Reason or insight, you choose.
Okay. Insight and
Right. I'm going to roll here.
Oh, no.
Just 220.
That was 2 20s. I'm not sure if I'm going to roll my assist. It's not going to help.
It isn't. It isn't going to help at all.
In Star Trek Adventures, if you are assisting someone who fails spectacularly, does that mean you also take the same complications and stuff?
I did everything correctly. I was like, I tuned into that frequency. You want to? Oh no, we probably shouldn't have tuned into that frequency.
Okay, so Carmelo, you start messing with the frequencies. You're fluctuating them, and then all of a sudden, there's this enormous. Like the rest of you guys can see him. He drops his tricorder. And he cups his ears as if he's hearing something extraordinarily painfully loud, but you guys don't hear anything at all. And so, Carmelo, you just drop to your knees. You have this splitting headache from this high-pitched, screeching noise that just barrels through your eardrums.
I won't do the Chekhov scream here for you.
Yes, don't do the check on screen.
I will go and assist him. And I will go next to him. What's going on? Aris, talk to me.
It hurts. It burns through my brain.
What burns through your brain?
I don't know. When we hit a particular frequency, I'm hearing something, and it's just like a spear through my head.
You know what this requires? Decisive action. I'm going to pick up the communicator and throw it against the nearest hardest object.
Okay.
Probably the monolith.
Yes. So you break his communicator. You smash it against the monolith. The high-pitched, screeching noise stops.
Mm-hmm. Feel better now. Not a Vulcan, but I'll say fascinating.
Don't know what to do about this. Perhaps we should just report back to the Starfleet. It seems dangerous to me.
Can I go check the pieces of the communicator, or can it be salvaged?
You could probably get it fixed. Yeah.
Don't worry, Lieutenant. I think I could probably put this back together. So now I'm right next to the monolith because I went to go pick up the pieces. Am I still feeling a bit unsure?
Yeah, you're getting some weird vibes from the monolith. Are you working on the tricorder right now? The GM wants you to say yes.
Unless the captain's like, we're leaving or anything, I'll be like, hang on a minute, I can put this back together in a couple of seconds. Give me time.
Okay. So if you want to give me a roll, please.
I'll make sure I won't turn it back on.
Yeah, please don't.
Would you be daring if I'm just jury rigging this thing back together?
Yes.
Right. So do I have a difficulty on this?
Your difficulty is going to be 2. Do you want to spend that last momentum you guys have?
Well, 2 successes.
Okay. And I'm going to spend some threat here. When you jury rigged it and got it fixed, it comes on of its own accord. You did not turn it on. And all of you now start to hear this frequency humming and shifting in deliberate sequences. And the tricorder, for some reason that you cannot fathom, is translating these frequencies into English. And the voice out of the tricorder says, "We shouted our existence into the void, wondering if we were alone. Yet in almost a century of listening, we received no reply until a message finally came back, too late to save us. Be quiet, or they will hear you."